You think of yourself as one thing, one body, one mind, one person moving through the world, making decisions, feeling hunger, choosing where to go. That sense of being a single, unified individual is so fundamental that most people never question it. It just feels obviously true. But somewhere in the deep ocean, drifting in the dark water column, there is a creature that looks like one animal, and moves like one animal, and hunts like one animal, and is not in any meaningful sense one animal at all. It is thousands of individual creatures, each one a separate living organism, fused together so completely that they can no longer survive apart. They share a body, they share a purpose, and together they function with a coordination so precise that scientists spent centuries arguing about whether to call it an animal or a colony. What they eventually concluded is that the question itself might be wrong, and that the same question, asked quietly, might apply to you. The way we think about individuality goes back a long way. In biology, an individual organism is something that develops from a single fertilized egg, maintains its own body, and eventually dies as a discrete unit. That definition seems obvious enough. A fish is an individual. A whale is an individual. You are an individual. The boundaries of the self are the boundaries of the skin. Everything inside is you. Everything outside is the world. For most of the history of natural science, this boundary was treated as settled. Then marine biologists started pulling things up from the deep ocean that didn't fit inside it. Creatures so strange, so structurally unlike anything on land, that they forced a re-examination of what an individual even means. And sitting at the center of that re-examination, largely invisible to the general public, is one of the longest animals on Earth. Most people have never heard of it. It's called a siphonophore. And the first thing you need to know is that what looks like a single jellyfish-like creature drifting through the water is not a single organism. Some siphonophores reach lengths of 40 meters or more, making them the longest animals in the world, even longer than a blue whale. But that 40-meter body is not one animal. It never was. Each specimen is composed of individual zooids, separate living organisms, that are morphologically and functionally specialized, developing from a single fertilized egg and combining to create a functional colony able to reproduce, digest, float, maintain body positioning, and use jet propulsion to move. Some zooids do nothing but sting. Some do nothing but digest. Some do nothing but move the whole structure forward. Some exist only to reproduce. Not one of them can survive if separated from the colony. Not one of them is, on its own, the animal. The animal is all of them together. And the animal, if that's even the right word, is the longest creature alive on Earth. Here's where it gets genuinely strange. The division of labor in a siphonophore shows the highest degree of specialization of any colonial organism. Being a siphonophore is as if you were to bud thousands of conjoined twins throughout your life. Some with only legs to move everybody, others with only mouths to ingest food, others with enlarged hearts to circulate the shared blood, and others fully dedicated to the sexual production of new offspring colonies. There can be a dozen or more such functional classes of zooids, arranged in precise, repeating patterns along the colony's length. Big think. But here's the part that stops researchers cold. The zooids don't decide anything individually. There is no central brain, no command structure, no single zooid giving orders to the others. The coordination, the hunting, the moving, the digesting, the reproducing emerges from the colony as a whole. Thousands of separate living organisms, each one doing only its one job, and together producing something that behaves like a single, deliberate animal. A 40-meter predator with no mind, and yet something that moves and kills with what looks unmistakably like intention. The siphonophore hunts by dangling long tentacles outward from its body in a wide curtain, a passive trap covering an enormous area of open water. Prey swims into it and the stinging zooids fire. The feeding zooids consume. The digested nutrients get distributed through a shared canal system running the length of the entire colony. Nutrients taken in at one end travel to zooids at the other end who have never touched food directly and never will. Every part feeds every other part through a body none of them individually owns. Now pause and think about your own body. Right now your heart is beating without you telling it to. Your liver is filtering toxins you don't know about. Your immune cells are attacking invaders you've never been aware of. Your neurons are firing in patterns you didn't consciously choose. The cells doing all of this have no individual awareness. A liver cell does not know it is part of you. It has no concept of the body it belongs to. It just does its job. And from the coordinated effort of trillions of cells, each one doing only its own function, something emerges. A person. A mind. A sense of being one unified thing. The division of labor between siphonophore zooids parallels the evolution of functional specialization at other levels of biological organization, such as between cells in a multicellular organism. The difference between you and a siphonophore is one of scale and degree, not of principle. You are also a colony. Your individuality is also an emergent property of thousands of specialized units cooperating so seamlessly that the cooperation becomes invisible. The siphonophore just makes it visible. It shows what coordination without a center actually looks like, at a scale large enough to see. And once you've seen it, the question of where one organism ends and another begins starts to feel a lot less settled than it did before.